I'd love to show you the lace I've been making with border punches. Come on in.
Hello everybody, welcome to Senior Susie Stamps. This is Julia Laird, and today I'm working with some border punches and I wanted to share with you what I've been making out of them. Let's look at some cards first. And you can see how I added a little piece of trim underneath this sentiment on this card with the border punch. And then on the inside, you can see I border punched this piece here and this little piece back here on these pop-ups as well. And it adds just a lot of extra decorative element to these cards. Now, you know, on cards that I make, I like to do a little something on the inside here, and this is what I would normally do. But today, since I had my border punches out, I thought I would show you what I've been making. And this pack, well, first of all, let's look at the pack of paper I've been using. Now, this is a pack from paperwishes.com, and the paper pack's no longer available, but there is a digital pack that's available that has all the elements in it. So you can still get it if you want to print. But this paper is gorgeous, but it's unique in that it has this really nice stripe. So that's what I've been using as the basis for my lace that I've been making today. Now, there's also, this is an older pack from Paper Wishes, and it had this really nice printable. And I noticed when I checked today on the digital, this printable is in that pack as well. So it's still available if you want to print it. Now, this is what I've been doing, and it uses some of your little small pieces of paper, so don't throw those out when you're working on a project like this. But you can see these little pieces of, maybe I ought to get a white piece of paper. Hang on. Maybe you can see these a little better now. But I've been making these little, see how pretty those are? And that's just a piece of, this is some lightweight cardstock, and this is an Astro Bright color called Stone, and it goes really nicely, I think, with this paper. And here's another piece. And this is 3 layers, the wood grain. And you can see I've used these little herb cutting scissors and cut part of that into fringe back there. It's just a little extra something to add. Here's a piece. Now this is just a single piece. Here's a tag. I had just a little tiny piece left over from another project I was working on, and I thought, well, I'll just make a tag out of it. How fun is that? And then here's this is a Fisker's punch. It's this one. You can see what it looks like. I guess I'll show you the punches, huh? This is an EK punch, and it's just a scalloped with a little tiny scallop edge on it, and that's what makes this little piece right here. And then this is another EK punch, and it's little tiny hearts and then a zigzag, well, I guess it's Mountain Valley pattern there. So what I thought would be fun to do on this card, since it's so pretty on the outside, is to add a little piece of this lace trim on the inside. And so I made a little piece right there. And that adds just a little extra something, and it brings the inside of the card then up to the same level of the outside of the card. So let's go ahead and add that. My glue bottle's been my friend this week, because this is not really something that you can do successfully with tape runner, or at least I can't, because you need to have a fine tip glue bottle to do a lot of this work, because the pieces that you're using are thinner and smaller. There. Now see, doesn't that just look prettier? And it goes nicely with the front of that card. Okay, I thought we'd make a couple of cards today, or maybe 3, just depends, and try to use up a little bit of this scrap lace that I have left over that I made. And this is part of that paper pack. And I'm going to use some of that stone base. Now these are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And I've already got 2 of these scrap pieces mounted up here. And I went ahead and made, out of those cutouts, I made some tags, and I thought that would be pretty on the front of that. But I didn't like this little raw edge coming together. And so I have a couple of little tiny pieces of trim that are left. If I can find that other one. You know how these things get, they kind of evade you. Here it is, I found it. So I thought it would be nice, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little tiny, that little tan piece is only this wide. And then the other piece has got the scallop punch, which is this one. And then I fringed it with my little scissors. So I'm going to put that up here. I didn't have enough to do the whole thing, so I'm just going to add it in what I had and cover up that little place there where those 2 papers join. There's that one, and then we'll put another little piece down at the bottom that corresponds with that, and then you and I will be the only ones that know that that piece of trim doesn't go the whole length of that card. And I'm going to put this little piece up on foam. And today I'm not adding sentiments because I'm just making some card bases to have on hand. I'll add the sentiments on these sometime later when I decide what they're going to be. When they grow up and decide to leave the studio. Oh. There's that one. And then this one goes up onto my card base. I'm using a top fold A2 size card today, and that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 folded. There. Now that one's all ready to finish with a sentiment, and let me find a little piece to go on the inside there. Maybe that piece. That might be a little frilly, huh? How about this one? I like that one. Yeah, we'll put it on the inside. I'm going to cut it at 4 inches, and then this will be ready for sentiment. There. Now I just need to stamp it inside and outside, and that card's good to go. So I thought with these 2 pieces, we would cut them and splice them back together. I'm going to save that little piece and make some angle cut cards on these. So I want to use this piece with that one, and then we'll see what we put on the back. So I'm going to cut these together, and that way they'll match up just perfectly when I go to put them on my card base. So I'm going to take the bottom with this one and that top together. All right. And I'm just going to put them on my card base here. These were cut down to an outside size of 5 by 3 3/4 so that they'll fit nicely on this first layer that I've got going here. And when you cut them together like that, you can be pretty assured that they're going to fit just perfectly on these card fronts that way. I like this paper that has the little wood grain and the lace and the flowers. It just plays really well together. But I think the star in today's show is that striped piece that I cut up into the lace. Because see how pretty that's going to be right like that. Maybe we'll do it like this. And then maybe we'll put a little tag on it too. Okay, hang on. These are just quick and easy little cards. They don't take any time at all to put together. And I think I'll put a little piece of ribbon in that. And this pack also had some really pretty little blue silky ribbon. And I tied a little bow out of some baker's twine. So I thought maybe that might be kind of nice. I do want to put this up on a piece of foam, and I will have a little sentiment that'll go on this at a later date. And you can see I fringed the back side of this. And I'm going to use a glue dot to put this ribbon up on. And then on the inside, I think I'll put this little piece. There. There's another one ready to go. And on this next one, let's try this side and see. I don't know whether those grays really will go well. No, that's not working for me. Is it you? I don't think so. The color's not quite right. Now. There's all kinds of different ways that you can use this paper when it's cut this way. But I just kind of like this little diagonal treatment here. And just to cover that seam right there, something very simple. Well, it's not quite long enough, is it? Let's see what else we got here. Oh, well now, we could just do a sentiment on that. And what else have we got? How about a little piece of this trim here? That'd be fine with a little sentiment on that. Something very simple. I like that. You may not keep scraps of paper like I do, and that's perfectly fine, but I find them to be extremely useful, especially on a little project like this where you're trying to make something kind of pretty with very little extra added on it. Now I'm going to wrap this trim back around just for another little interest there. Now then, see what else we got. I think I could probably cut a little piece of trim here. Let's try it on this side. I'm just going to slide that into where I can see the end cut, and then bring it back to where I can see where it cut, the very final one, and do it one more time. You can do it from the front as well, but up next to the camera I don't think I can hold it and cut it at the same time. Now I'm going to trim this back just a little bit with my paper cutter. I think I'll make it a 3/4 inch trim. And see, I still have this piece for something else. Let's see. Maybe it might be kind of pretty on the back side of this. What do you think? Oh, that might be just fine, huh? And then maybe put a little piece of other something in there. Yeah, because we just need a little spot to go up there. Let's try that and see. I think that's going to be just fine. And I'll try to use my tweezers so I can get them kind of straight. Let's see what we got over here in the leftovers. That piece right there would be pretty, wouldn't it? Let's cut that and try it. I'm about to cut this side off here. I don't want a great big wide piece there. There. Something like that will make a nice little piece of lace, won't it? Can trim this off. I think I'll come back in and show you how I do my little scissors here. What I find with these is you just want to cut them till they're through. You don't want to press them really hard, because if you do, then they kind of make a little pour cut at the top. But that kind of makes that little fringe nice there, doesn't it? Now I'm only going to need half of it on one side and half on the other. So let's do it this way. All right, let's do it that way. Yep, there we go. I enjoy just being creative. Whoopsie. In my studio. I have to get some cleaner on my mat here pretty soon, won't I? Pull that right on up like that. And we'll do the same with this one down here. And try not to get glue all over everything. There. So now those little tiny pieces of paper become very useful in some lace trim. And we're going to stick this little guy right here up on top of that. You need to be ready for a little sentiment, maybe a little flower, and be good to go. I'm going to add him up on some dimension. There. Now I got 3 cards ready for a final sentiment that I can pull out and use just in a quick minute. And they look like I've spent some time on them, don't they? Let's see. What can we put on this one?
My camera storage is about ready to run out of room, so I didn't finish this recording quite the way I wanted to. But at the end of the day, there's 3 cards that are finished, and we'll see them in just a second here when this gets through. Hang on. Here's those final cards. You can see I added some sentiments and a few extra little flags here and there. I also added some Nuvo drop dots that I had made. And these are the original cards that I showed you that I had already fixed before we started today. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.